Hi everyone, it's Pierre again in the garage, the shop, whatever you call it. Today is going to be a short video about a few little subjects. There's no machining specifically, so just a few here and there, like tools I got. I'm going to make a little review about a wireless microphone that I intend to scrap. My toothpick knife, and maybe a few little things, but we'll start right away. I was saying that I had some problems with the last episode of the 6-shot chuck, and I had to redo the complete sequence because the sound was so rotten on this that couldn't be had. So I'll show you exactly what cheapo microphone is. It was a recommendation of a friend, but I'll keep my friend though. But I'll change. I'll be a little bit more suspicious on his recommendations later. I'm just going to show you a close-up of what that beautiful microphone is. Just let me get the camera a different angle so you can see better. There we go. Now you're closer a little bit. This is the famous microphone that cost me more than it's worth of trouble. That costed like 10 bucks right in my mailbox. But he's POS, piece of shit. This is a Violin 601, and just like you can pay up to, I don't know, maybe 30, 40, 50 bucks for that, or as high as 50 bucks. And it's not because you're going to pay more it's going to be better. It's just like keep away from this if you want to have a decent microphone. It's low technology. It's a little electret. I think the only thing that's good about this is that little electret microphone. And inside of this, because I opened it up, I mean at that press I was going to be making myself happy. It's kind of low grade PC board. It's a low frequency FM transmitter. It's just subjected to about any interference or any disturbance in the air. You know, like I think a snowflake falls and it's gonna start acting up. It drifts, so it makes a drifting sound. It makes the background sound on this is like a pretty high hiss, like you're a little bit like on the side of a seashore with waves coming in. Then you're talking, you're just trying to talk over the sea, the sea waves. And that's, as far as I'm concerned, that part's garbage. And it came with a little transmitter here. Had a big phone jack here, which I changed to put a mini phone jack like this to be able to plug it into the camera, which is more practical. But like I say, it's not good. The only parts, like I say, I have to build a phantom power though between this and this plug here and an extension I make, because these microphones, since they're electret, they need maybe 4 or 5 volts to as a phantom power to feed them for being of some use. Okay, here's the toothpick club knives, just like Randy's got. You buy the toothpick for about, I don't know, maybe 30 bucks when you go to these Swiss Army knives merchants, and toothpick 30 bucks, knife is free, comes with it. So that's a knife I've been having. This one's pretty new, but I've been wearing that kind of knife since I was about 20 years old, and just maybe the third one now. I wear them about 15 years. They got worn out just by using the blade, because this blade just like I sharpen it once in a while, and it just tends to diminish. And the other one I had, which I just kind of put aside, I don't remember where it is, but the blade was about eaten up to here. It was about half the size. we put them together side by side, and they look the small one looks funny. But these knives, I mean, they're Victorinox, and I think they're pretty worth it. And place to get them cheap, if you have here, that's a charity organism that just sells them. When they're being seized at the airport, they pick them up, they give them to this charity organization. Everything that's called knives, files, and nail files, pliers, whatever is not allowed in the plane, they give it to them, and they sell them for like as a donation. So I think I paid this one like $5. Usually when I go and purchase a few, when I have a chance of finding one of those days where they do the sales, I buy maybe 2 or something like that, which is nice. And now just I'm onto a project. I have a camera which is a Canon, it's even a little video taper. It's maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 years old or something. I bought it used, and but I like the picture on this. I like it does a very I find it does a very good job at automatic settings will give me a good rendition. I like the resolution. I like the skin tones, and it just deals very well with lights, even low lights, which I've seen some GoPros, and I don't know, for once it's all equipped, and you get the batteries, you get extra stuff, and even the memory cards that don't come with it, and just you need a special phone to get the picture. You don't get much for $500, and ends up like being all equipped, maybe I don't know, 7, 8, maybe even 900 or $1,000, to get a GoPro all going. And I find it's well, for now it's a little hefty price, and I like my Canon camera, which I find it gives a better rendition of the scenes. Okay, so I'm just about this thing here. I'm planning to I'll put it on the table. I'd like to make some kind of a little gimbal holder to hold the camera over the lathe, over the milling machines, or just about any place I work. So I'm planning to make some kind of a stand that will go, let's say, maybe magnetic, or could be clamped to, or even cut on the camera tripod. And I'd like to put the camera on some kind of a gimbal like this. The camera will go like here, and this arm will like revolve around this pivot, and you can easily turn this old gimbal there, the whole assembly, around on its own pivot there, and turning like this, like 360 like that, 360 like that, and having the camera holding on this. It's pretty I find it's pretty solid, and I'm gonna start doing some drawings about that, and eventually we'll start the series on this. That's what anyway, that's a plan. I hope nothing gonna come and just go against that, but I think that would be a pretty simple thing to make, because these things sell for like a few $100, from 150 to 250 or $300. So I think that might be an interesting project and something worth making. Let's go to the next subjects now. Today I went shopping, and some last week too, and I'm just gonna show you one of the few things I got. This is a 12 inches level. The difference between this and a few other ones is this here, 12 inches, but it's 5/10ths of a thousand per divisions, and it's a 12 incher, and it means that if you got one division on the vial off, it means you are half a thousand off. Okay, let's try to get this okay in focus and no reflection. See there, it's kind of very close to level, and compared to the other ones, which I'll show you later, this one is really like about I think it's 10 times more precise, and it's really like a precision level for really like very finicky setups. Let me turn it around, and if you're on the surface plate like I am, and since my surface plate is not exactly perfectly lined up and leveled, there's going to be one place where it's going to be level, and I'm pretty close of okay, I'm pretty close to there. See, there's about maybe 2/10, 3/10 maybe off on 12 inches. That's pretty nice. And I guess I calibrated it a little bit, because when I got it, it wasn't perfectly calibrated. Now it's probably need a little bit of still a little bit of adjustment, and I'll finish it up, because it, you set it up and you leave it there for a little while, and you set it up again a few times later. Let me show you inside the beast. There, 4 screws there, 4 screws on the other side, and I'll show you what's inside this. I know the reflections aren't very good though. I mean, I got a lot of reflections. See, the table is not very perfectly lined up, so. And what you see in there is a vial, precision vial, and the red spot on the right is adjustment screw. Let me get over it. I'm just gonna hide the lights. Okay, see the red spot on the right is the adjustment screw. That's what I'm playing with, and it's just a cavity in which this vial is installed. There are pins here on which it is held on the sides. See there, up there are adjustment screws that will adjust the centering of this vial on this. I'd rather not too much play with this one. See the 2 screws there, and that's where it just centers it into the cavity. This one here, it's just a normal screw that you turn to just do the adjustment, the fine adjustment. You don't go like with a huge screwdriver and turn like crazy with this. It's just like very small increments, and ends up doing the job. That was to show you how these kinds of levels are. And you got there, these spots here is some kind of a plastic. That's why you should grab the level when you want to take measurements, because heat, with those sensitivities, heat will will affect it. If you hold it long time in your hands and try to make measurements, that will vary a little bit with heat, so you got to be careful with that. And I'll just put this aside, and this precision one I got a while ago. I got 3 levels here. Starret and Starret style. Okay, this is the 2 ones in the back. This is a 12 inches. This is 8 inches, and this is a Lufkin 6 inches. This one I had before. It's as precise as the other ones. It's just like it's a smaller one. 6 inches is like, see if you get my hand over it. That's what it gives, and give you say kind of an idea of the scale. And the 2 ones on top there. This one was brand new, never used. Was held, and like in in the cupboard or whatever for a long time. Just had to clean up the surfaces, which they came out pretty nice. See, bottom surface on this is pretty mint, just a light cleaning, the sides and everything. The 12-incher, I had to do some work a little bit on. Slightly, I just had to lap it. I took the granite plate and with about 400 and 600 sandpaper, and I just got a few nicks off there and I cleaned it up. Now it's nice. I'll try to make it so you don't get too many reflections, but there are no dings that protrude or anything like that. There are a few nicks in there because it's been used quite a lot, but I can say it's pretty clean overall. The violin, this one's been changed, and I can tell because it's been filled up with, this is silicone. I don't think that should have been filled up with silicone first, and second, it's got a gap about I don't know, 100,000 or something. It's a vial for a smaller level, and it's just, it doesn't fit right into the capsule there. And I can't, this one, because of that, I can't really put it better than half a division or something, like on the leveling. It's too bad because it's just like it's okay besides that. And they also changed this here. This is not original, and the two nuts there. The original one looks more like this one that's never been altered or anything like that. But it's functional. It's no problem. I'll probably order a vial that will fit in there, and I'll make it like a more cleaner level, and with the proper vial I'll be able to adjust precisely from one side to the other. And another thing I got, just let me push this away. I'll bring something. Someone gave me this. It's a tube assembly, and that's for the 12, exactly what I got there. And it's nice, it's beautiful, except, oops, that's been puckered up a little bit. The vial is broken, but this one is, instead of being painted, because this one is painted, and this one here, it's polished metal. And what I'll do, I'll order a vial, and eventually I'll change it. So with the new vial and the new assembly on top, is gonna look pretty new, and I'll be able to adjust like to its final adjustment. So that's a little project to come, but it's still usable though. But like I say, it just gives me a few thousand, maybe not a few thousand, but maybe 1,000. I found this too. This is a little starret planer gauge. It's the I don't know, I think it's 4 inches in the 4 inches model. Not exactly brand new, but functioning pretty good. Haven't cleaned it up too much so far, but I'll need just a little bit of clean up, but it functions right. Came with its box, the height adjustment gauges on it. Not gauges, but just the height portion you can add on the on either side, or add them up or whatever. So that's a nice add-on, because I didn't have any of that, so happy I got that. Here I'll be giving you a sneak preview of future projects. What we see here is a temperature controller. It's not very big. If I can just have my hand beside it. So if it moves, I'm holding the camera by hand. and it's, you know, that's what it is. The back is plugged to 110 volts. You can plug it to 240 volts to whatever you need. The blue and red connectors are what you call a probe, temperature probe. This is a K type temperature probe. This probe will go and be able to measure temperatures up to 1200 degrees Celsius, which is I think it's near. Have to make the conversion though. I'll make the conversion and I'll write it down. And this little device won't be able to drive high current elements like 1000 watts or a few thousand watts or whatever, but you can use it in conjunction with those solid state relays here. And this particular relay is good for 90 amps. It can work from 90 volts to 480 volts AC, and it's driven with the input there. It's from 3 volts to 35 volts. So if you have a low power output to drive the bigger, let's say a bigger element, that's what you're going to use. It's going to be probably used on a heatsink or something, but what I intend to use it for is this this thing here. It's a small copper enameling oven. That's about it. That's project, not exactly the next project, but soon to come.